Detroit Lions fans, Detroit Den 313 back with another episode with Steve and Will here, just trying to lick our wounds. And let's talk some Detroit Lions football. Let's see if we can get through a day. We're not accustomed to days like this after a Detroit Lions game. So we'll get into some game day stuff. We'll get into some injury news as well and whatever else pops up. So Steve, where you want to start this thing, man?
I don't know if we need to go to the zoo and round up like a bunch of animals for slaughter or go to like a farm, gather a bunch of chickens. Something needs to be fucking sacrificed around here, William, so that we can maintain a healthy roster. Okay. I don't know what it is. I'm open to ideas. A blood sacrifice. If we have to make a deal with the devil, I don't know. Guys, I'm in a somber mood. Yesterday it was 77 degrees and sunny in Florida. I was on vacation having a good time. I fly back watching the Lions lose an absolute atrocious game on one half of the football. Kids were crying. I was crying. At one point I was just like, just open the door and let me jump out of this plane. Like I've had enough. Like now we're talking. Yeah, I guess we have to start with the hot news of the day. Aleem McNeil out for the season, torn ACL. Carlton Davis, essentially out for the season, torn ACL. We've taken our whole starting defense this season. It's amazing. We've put them in a bus and we've just drove it off a cliff. They're all out. Nobody's available besides Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell. End of list. We are literally on practice squad players getting meaningful reps. Like, William, I need you to talk me off the ledge today because it's a dark, somber mood in the Perkins household. It's rainy. It's cloudy. Like, I just don't have a lot to live for today. I need you to make my world a better place. Hit that subscribe button if you feel like. Throw me a bone today, people. Come on.
I'll tell you this. We're still sitting at number one. Let's start there. Still sitting at number one. Now, it's already been in my comments, and we were waiting to get some things done that we had to get done as adults before we hopped on. So a lot of people have reached out to me and like, hey man, where you guys at? Blah blah blah. What's going on? And a lot of people were reaching out saying, hey man, they just weren't in a good spot. And I've been telling everybody the same thing. One, let's refer back to the thing that I always refer back to, which is Jocko Willink. You know what I mean? All these things are happening to us. Good. Bring it on. Bring it on. Now, I'm not necessarily saying bring on more things, but I am saying we got to be ready for whatever, man. No excuses. We never give up. We never surrender. This team is going to keep pressing forward with whoever we got. And that's just how it'll be. So that's what I'm expecting. But the bottom line is the Buffalo Bills just kicked our butts. They just did. I don't even know that I can sit up here and say that it was because we had guys out. Right? They just looked great. Steve, one thing that I will say, that opening drive, we went 3 and out. Got the football, went 3 and we started off losing a coin toss. I didn't like that. But anyways, started off 3 and out. Buffalo Bills come down, score, and it you can attest to this. No matter what is going on, I'm always saying, hey man, it's not a big deal. But I will be honest, the way at which it happened, it gave a pit in my stomach. I didn't like. I looked at Emily and I said, I don't like that. We need to score on the second drive. You guys know what ended up happening. Especially at the beginning of the game, we had some offensive struggles. Obviously, we had some defensive struggles, and things just didn't feel great. I felt like we never got going. I felt like we were a little flat from a Detroit Lions player perspective, not a fan perspective. Fans were ready. They were going nuts at the beginning of the game. But, Steve, what was, to you, the biggest concern after watching that football game?
I'm not surprised at how the Buffalo Bills were able to move the ball. I'm not. Like, we moved the ball on them. I said it was going to be a shootout. I was way under on my prediction with what I thought Jared Goff was going to do. We'll get to that as we go. I said he would throw for 350 and three or four touchdowns. He threw for almost 500 and 5 touchdowns. Like, I knew that our offense was going to be fine. I knew that if we could get a couple stops here or there, maybe force a turnover, maybe we get a tipped pass that, we get the ball back, an extra possession, maybe we can steal this. But I'm with you. When we went 3 and out and they marched down the field, no problem, like big play, chunk play, big play here. Like we couldn't guard fucking Ty Johnson, a former Detroit Lions 6th-round draft pick who was a absolute bum. This dude is a bum. I'm not going to say that he torches people all the time. Ty Johnson came onto the field. We couldn't cover him. We couldn't cover him with Ezekiel Turner. I'm sorry. I told you he was a liability. Ezekiel Turner was an absolute liability. I'll get to some more stuff about him later. I knew that this game was going to be a track meet. All right. And I was like, all right, hey, this is fine. I think we have more weapons overall than the Buffalo Bills. I still believe that. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback. Absolutely elite. I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has more rings. I get it. He's got more glitz and glamour, and his best friend's banging Taylor Swift. That's fantastic. I think Josh Allen can do everything that Patrick Mahomes can. He just doesn't have the Super Bowls. In a regular season, Josh Allen is an absolute problem. I would still take Amon-Ra St. Brown, all of our weapons over all that. We just didn't get a timely turnover. We didn't get a stop. For God's sake, I don't think we had a tackle behind the line of scrimmage until late in the third quarter, Will. Like, we did not dominate the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball. I think that was my biggest concern is we got bullied up front, offensively, defensively. We could not generate a pass rush. Josh Allen had all day to throw. It reminded me a little bit of the Baltimore Ravens game last year. Josh Allen just was not under pressure at all, 0%. The difference was from the Baltimore game is we were able to kind of chip away at the lead. We made some plays too, but I did not like what I saw up front. I saw Ed Oliver absolutely. I think Graham Glasgow has to take him to dinner and tell him not to ever do that to me again, because Ed Oliver had a career day. I don't know. You weren't at the game. I don't know if you got to watch the film. They put up a stat that he tied a career high in pressures yesterday, 9.
Yeah, and I like Ed Oliver.
Yeah, he's a beast. Hey, I like Ed Oliver too. I was looking at him when the Lions, Houston kind of wanted him to draft. I don't think we're in the position though. But 9 pressures halfway through the third quarter. That's one guy. All right. So we did not even dominate offensive line, defensive line. That was my biggest concern.
Yeah, I do want to say this. I wanted to say it in the beginning and kind of got sidetracked. Buffalo Bills fans, they got into our comments. They've been attempting to get at us a little bit. I got nothing bad to say to you. Your team kicked our team's butt, man. Like, I don't know what your goal is when you get in them comments and you say not nice things. I don't know if you think that you're going to hurt our feelings or, buddy, listen. We're a team that just won 12 games in a row before we lost that one. If you think that you're going to break our little hearts, that's not the way that's going to go. All you're going to get from us is you guys played a heck of a football game and you guys kicked our team's butt. Good job. Maybe we'll see you again in the big game. And we're getting to a point to where I'm hoping that we see you. You know what I mean? But you guys got a heck of a football team, a heck of a quarterback. You played a heck of a game. And hats off to you. Nothing bad to say about you. I do feel like some of these guys are being like, "Hey man, we're going to beat them by 100. They're trash." I don't think that's what we said in our
No, we predicted a shootout, and that's exactly what it was. It was a one possession game. Like I don't like to say that they kicked our butts. Defensively, we could not get a stop, but I'd say the same about them. They just got more stops than us. I think that's what it was. Like Jared Goff went toe to toe with Josh Allen. Like, I think he outperformed Josh Allen. Honestly, I'll say it. I think he outplayed Josh Allen, but nobody's talking about it because the Detroit Lions lost.
Yeah, I will tell you that I love our quarterback. I feel exact opposite. I feel like Josh Allen looked dominant. Jared Goff did not look dominant. I knew he threw for 500 yards, but I feel like some of those yards were meaningless yards when we were playing from behind, going tempo, throwing it up. A couple of them, like the one to Amon-Ra St. Brown, I was for sure thought that was an interception. It literally went right over somebody's fingertips, or he tipped it and then Amon-Ra caught it. I'm not sure which it was because I haven't got a chance to watch the film back yet, but he just looked, once the pressure got to him, he couldn't extend plays a lot of the time. He had to, kind of concede to what the pressure, the blitz or whatever, whoever was in his face. Is he a darn good quarterback, and can we win a Super Bowl with him? Hell yeah, we can. Hell yeah, we can. But there's just certain moments that Josh Allen would have been able to extend plays that we couldn't extend plays with Jared Goff. But it doesn't even really matter to me. When I watch Josh Allen, He just looked dominant the whole game. They're running read. We had no answer to the read. All right, either Josh was keeping it or he's handing off to James Cook. He had James Cook looking like he was freaking Saquon Barkley or somebody. Like it was really beautiful to watch as a football fan what Josh Allen was doing, rolling out, picking his spot, hanging on to the football, hanging in the pocket. I will say that any freaking quarterback, to include, probably Mason Rudolph, if you got an hour in the pocket, you know what I mean, to throw the football, you can get it done. But it wasn't just him having time in the pocket. It was the few times that we did get somebody in his face because he decided to wait 15 minutes before he was going to throw the football. He would just evade that guy and make it look very elementary, right? Like I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm better than you. Please get out of the way because I'm trying to look downfield and get this to one of my guys. I was envious of that, man. It was cool. It was cool to see as a football fan. It was fun to watch when he flicked the one straight down the field to Keon Coleman. He looked like he threw it 1,000,000 yards. I think he threw it from the opposite 30 down to the freaking almost to the opposite end zone. Those things are cool to see, man. But I still stand on what I said. Now, even though I said that I feel like Jared Goff didn't outplay him in that football game, something always happens with Josh Allen at the end of the season. Right? And I don't know what that is. And I'm not a Buffalo Bills fan, so I don't want to make it like I know every minute detail of it. What I do know is this. Jared Goff knows how to make it to the big dance. I love that about him, and I still believe in him and his ability to be able to take us there. So it remains to be seen. But guys, you Buffalo Bills fans in the comments, I don't know what your goal is when you come say nasty things after you guys win. I feel like you would be happy, right? But hats off to you. Heck of a football game. Where you want to take this thing next, Steve?
Off a cliff. That's where I'd like to take it. Off a cliff and just.
How about those linebackers?
Yeah, where do you want to start with them? Like I've said, not nice things about Ezekiel Turner. I think Jack Campbell is. You didn't what?
I didn't think it was just him. It started off with Quan Alexander.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. This wasn't just a one guy problem on defense. This was an elite play caller in Joe Brady and an elite play caller in Aaron Glenn. The difference I really feel is one of them had the full complement of their offense versus Aaron Glenn not having practice squad players out there. Like I would love to see this, and I'm not making excuses. We lost. End of story. I would love to see this game played, and I think it would be an excellent game of the year. No asterisks, no nothing, no questions about it. Fully healthy. And I know that that's not the case, but like if this would have been like week 1, I don't think that this is the same story. I think if we had our full defense out there, I think we can at least generate 1 to 2 more stops. And that's all that this game really came down to. I'm not saying we stopped Josh Allen completely with a full defense, but I think I was looking at Buffalo's offense versus a depleted Detroit Lions team. Like we're just up against it. We don't have what we need to win against these dominant teams. I feel like, and I'm just going to be honest, like I'm deeply concerned with how this defense is shaping up, and it's not Aaron Glenn's fault. I don't think he should be fired. I still think he should be assistant coach of the year for what he's done and how far he's gotten us with all the injuries. But I am getting more and more concerned when I see elite teams like the Buffalo Bills do this to our defense, because now I think you're putting your offense in a position where you have to score 40 points, and 40 points wasn't good enough to win yesterday.
Yeah. I will say I agree up front. I don't think we won up front offensively, which is something that I expected to do. I expected to just be dominant up front, and we weren't. I think part of it was we never got things going. We never got the momentum of the game. It was like Buffalo made a couple of plays early. They got their confidence. They got some momentum. They started to believe, and then we never really showed them that they shouldn't believe when it came to the ground game. And then that affected the passing game earlier. Like I said, the first 3 and out. But that's something that we need to evaluate and look at. Defensively, I'm just looking at it, man, like it was one game. It was one game with guys that are still pretty new defensively. David Long got a lot of snaps. Quan Alexander got a lot of snaps. Ezekiel Turner, who hasn't been a starter in this league, got a lot of snaps. We're still trying to figure out what the heck is our identity with this defense of guys that haven't been out there. I still when I'm looking at guys defensively, I'm still looking for guys who can win their individual matchups. I still believe that we have guys who can do that. So I'm not crazy worried over the top yet. What I am worried about is what adjustments can be made for this group to gel, and do we have enough time for them to gel to win in the playoffs when we're going to be facing teams like this every week. But when I think about what happened to us on last Thanksgiving, when my turkey tasted like very bad things, I'm not going to continue to curse on this show, but
Gloves are off today. I'm not in a good place mentally.
Hey, I get it. But when Dude Love made my turkey taste real bad and they just kicked our butts, we bounced back the way that we should have. Geno Smith came to town, did his thing one time. We bounced back the way that we should have. We know about Lamar Jackson when they kicked our butts up and down the field. We bounced back from that. If this thing becomes a trend, then I'll look at it and say we got a problem. I'm just looking at it as one football game. Things will get addressed. Aleem not being out there is absolutely huge. But we'll figure it out. Pat O'Connor, you got your opportunity, man. With chaos breeds opportunity. Let's see.
I didn't even see him get into the game too much. We just hyped him up last week, and I don't think he got that many snaps. Like, especially when Lee McNeil went down, I was like, well, here we go. Here comes Pat O'Connor. Like, he had a good couple games. Let's see if he can, be that guy to step up. But I have to go back and rewatch it and see exactly how many snaps he got. I didn't really get to. I was watching the game on my phone at an airport, so I couldn't exactly dive in and be 100% focused like I wanted to. It wasn't an ideal scenario, but I don't know, Will. I just look at all the starters we've lost, all the depth pieces we've lost. We're going to have to watch Kindle Vildor play more meaningful football. We're going to have to watch guys that most people haven't even heard of. Most guys that were on practice teams a couple weeks ago come to our team and play very meaningful football. We essentially have to win out to win the division. Like, that's how locked up the NFC North is. It's going to be between Minnesota and Detroit. I think Green Bay's kind of out of it. We would really have to lose like every game the rest of the season. I don't see that happening. My concern level is just very, very, very high. Like, I just came into this game thinking, if we lose, let it be a loss that I can at least take some positive out of. We lost, and we lost two more starters. So my concern level right now is probably like an 8 or a 9. Like, it's up there, and I'm scared, Will. I'm just absolutely scared.
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that, man, but it's going to be okay. I promise you.
It's not what we lost. It's having to see what's replacing that. Like, do you trust Kindle Vildor? No. Do you think Pat O'Connor can get it done 6 straight games and going into a Super Bowl? Question mark. Yes. Like, that's my concern. It's not that we lost guys. It's next man up mentality. I get it. People get injured in the NFL. It's what's replacing them. Can they do what we need? It's more questions than answers. And Kindle Vildor, God, I don't know how that guy's not knocking on my door right now asking me if, like, I need an estimate on my roof, if I'm being honest with you, Will.
I will say that Kindle Vildor is a guy who's won that backup job. He's won it. He's not just out there just because we have nobody like he was last year. Last year, I feel like he was out there because we couldn't find anybody else like at a high school or anything that was eligible to go out there to play for him. This year, I feel like he's out there because he's actually earned a job. There's things that we could do right now. We could take a Meek and shuffle some things around and bump a Meek out there. We could bring in Emmanuel Mosley and bump Emmanuel Mosley out there. There's things that we could do to sub Kindle Vildor and get him off of the field. So I think, I don't know, man. I don't really, and shame on me because I just don't really want to watch Kindle Vildor. So I haven't taken the time to
Kindle
watch.
Vildor's parents don't want to watch Kindle Vildor play football. That's what we're saying.
I think we are at a point to where if he does start this week, I'm really going to have to dive into him and break him down, like play in and play out, because a lot of people say nice things about him. But either way that it goes, it's a job that he's won for some reason. And I don't think that we have idiots on our coaching staff or in our front offices. So yeah, it remains to be seen, man. I don't want to say optimistic. I believe in people being who they are, teams being who they are. And we've become a team that our culture is never give up, never give in. I posted a tweet for those that don't follow us. When that game started to get bad, I said I'm interested to see what this offense does now. This is a 3-score game. We're looking like we don't even necessarily have 3 possessions left. What is this offense going to do? And I seen nothing but Amon-Ra St. Brown blocking like a dog, guys running hard, Sam Laporta playing like a beast. The offensive line continue to play hard. Jared Goff continue to press on and make plays. We're a non-give up, non-give-in team, man. And I think that's just what we're going to see. Aaron Glenn's not going to pack it in. He's going to figure it out, whatever he needs to do to either put out a successful defense or put out another bend but don't break, band-aided up defense that can hold on just enough for us to be able to outscore the other team. But I'm not in panic mode by any means. I'm not scared by any means. I'm excited. Steve, question.
Answer.
When we kicked that onside kick,
that was going to be my next question for you. I'm pissed that you asked me first, Will. That was the next question I was going to ask. Listen, this is a hot topic. All right, I've seen it all over Twitter. 12 minutes exactly left in the fourth. The Detroit Lions go down, score a touchdown. I think we cut it within 10. Was it 10? I can't remember the score. 12 minutes left, and we're bringing out the onside team. And I'm like, okay. I thought maybe we were bluffing, but I'm like, I don't know what you get out of this from bluffing. You're not going to call a timeout when you got your onside team out there. So are they really onsiding it? Are they going to pooch punt? I didn't know for sure that it was going to be an onside kick. And I guess with the new rules, I should have. But like I said, airport, there was a lot going on yesterday in the Perkins traveling from across the world. So bear with me. I actually understood it. I actually said, this is probably the right move. At the end of the day, we did not stop Josh Allen one single time. So if you kick that ball deep and they get it at the 30 and they start running the ball, maybe they don't get as many chunk plays, but they take that valuable time off the clock and then score a touchdown, it's essentially game over. Like I thought maybe if we get this onside, it's a possibility to turn the game like we did with the Houston Texans. Like maybe that's the play we need to really get this back in our favor, get a little bit of momentum. I understand why, and if you guys disagree, it's perfectly fine because I understand it's a very questionable call. But the end of the day, my status is this. We didn't stop Josh Allen. We needed the football. That's how I feel about it. How'd you feel? And let me ask you real quick. Since you were at the game, what was kind of like the energy of the crowd when you guys saw that he was going for it? What was it like in there?
People were stunned when they found out they were going for it because the new NFL rule is you got to announce it. You can't sneak an onside kick in. You have to declare. You got to let the referee know that you're going to onside kick, and then just like they do the eligibility, they announce it over the PA. Hey, Detroit Lions have elected to go for an onside kick. Line up, onside kick it. We almost got it. Hollins is a tall guy. He tipped it up, and then because whoever was trying to reach for it was a little bit shorter, he caught it, ran up the sideline. Kind of a freak play on an onside kick is not something that typically happens. When you onside kick it, typically you're not watching the receiving team almost score a touchdown. You're either getting the ball or it's down where you are kind of in a scrum for lack of a better term. So it was just a freak play. Now, I will say, the stadium was screaming that our coach is an idiot afterwards. Like the stadium was freaking out. Why would we do that? Blah, blah, blah. But I guarantee you this, if we recover that, he's a genius. Right? That's what people are going to say. And what I hate is we get on here and talk the truth of how we feel. I don't know if it's the truth of facts, but either way that it goes, when a coach makes a call like that or a situation happens, we tell how we really feel, regardless of what happened. So we can say, hey, we went for it on 4th down on our own 30. Didn't like it. But there's times where we went for it on 4th down and we've actually got the 1st down where we've came on here and voiced concerns about it, or just situations that ended up being successful where we still voiced concerns. So I'll say, while if I did disagree with it, I would say it. That's what I'm leading into. I didn't disagree with it either. We haven't stopped the Buffalo Bills all day. Right. It would have been a great opportunity to get some momentum, recover it, or if you give it to them around midfield, you can still stop them. It's 10 points if they kick a field goal. It's still a 2-score game, so you got to score 2 touchdowns instead of a touchdown and a field goal is all that happens. I didn't think that it was the dumbest call ever in the whole world. Now, could I understand people wanting us to kick the football and play D and hope that Buffalo Bills are going to concede to just running the ball and either punching us in the mouth or kicking it back to us? It's just not football. And running the ball, they were running it down our throat. They were running Reed, and Josh Allen was doing what he wanted. He was either going to give it to James Cook, who was going to run for 6, 7, 8, 12, whatever, or he was pulling it and running for 50. So, I mean, it was, I wouldn't have trusted going out and stopping those Buffalo Bills either. Completely understand why he did it. I don't think there was a lot of good answers in that moment. And sometimes when you're sitting on the sideline and you don't have answers, it's the best in the worst situation or a bad situation.
Yeah, I get it. I think the fan base is going to be completely split on good decision, bad decision. I said we talked about Dan Campbell and some of his decisions last week, and my exact words were, his decisions depend on the flow of the game for me. All right. I can understand going for it on 4th down when you're inside the opponent's 5 and ready to score a touchdown versus the 30. So the flow of this Buffalo Bills game is exactly like you said. We weren't generating pressure on Josh Allen. He had all day to throw in the pocket. We weren't stopping the run. I liked our secondary. We looked good. But like you said earlier, William, you're leaving me some little breadcrumbs here. You mentioned a name, Mason Rudolph. The worst quarterback in the NFL has all day to throw, will dissect a defense. You can't cover guys for 8 to 10 seconds if you're not getting a pass rush. I live and die by that motto, trenches. If you're not winning the trenches, probably going to lose the game. If Josh Allen's not feeling pressure, even if it doesn't matter what the game is, 12 minutes left, two scores, 3 scores, it doesn't matter. He's just going to take more time off the clock. Dan Campbell said, I need to get as many possessions as I can. My defense is not getting stops. They're absolutely having a track meet on offense over there. We can't stop anybody because we're not putting pressure on them. As good as my secondary might be playing, my defensive front ain't getting it done, and he has all day to go through a read or just run the ball. So I think people disagree because it was unorthodox. I'll give you that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen an onside kick with 12 minutes left in a football game. The only time that really comes to mind is like the New Orleans Saints to open the second half in the Super Bowl in like 2009, I believe. Like, it's not orthodox. It doesn't happen a lot. Dan Campbell needed more possessions. We forced the Buffalo Bills to punt the football one time. If you were banking on that happening, I would say probably don't be a bettor because it wasn't very high odds. You're really kind of counting on, do I get a fumbled snap, a fumble? Can I punch this ball out? Can I get an interception? Low probability for an onside kick. I think Dan just thought, I have a better chance of getting this football and getting another possession, changing momentum. Maybe I'll only go down 1 score if I can execute. And the good thing about it was Buffalo scored on like 1 play. So really no time came off the clock. What are we even talking about here, William?
Yeah. I will say they worried me, man, a lot with what I saw from a scheme standpoint of things that I have in my notes that give the Lions problems. I really hesitantly talk about it, but I am going to talk about it because I have a pretty strong understanding that the NFL isn't watching our content, getting information from somebody like me. So I will say what my concerns are when I watch film every single week. Crossing patterns are something that we have trouble with. I've seen so many quarterbacks just kill us with crossers. Read is something that we have problems with when we have a mobile quarterback. Just having a read option, having read RPOs, those are things that give us absolute problems. And I watched the Buffalo Bills do as other teams have done to us. But there was a new one. And I think that it was obviously a point of emphasis that this week it was get these linebackers matched up with our 3rd down athletic running backs, and we're going to create problems. I've seen it time in and time out. So if I'm an offensive coordinator, if I'm the next team coming in, you're going to see more running back out of the backfield. I'm going to match you guys up, match these linebackers up with these guys. You're going to see more crossers, and you're going to see more read. And we didn't have answers for any of it. So that worries me because the NFL is a copycat league. So that's something to look out for moving forward. Are we going to see more of that from teams that can do it? I know that Sam Darnold, he's not the most athletic dude in the world, but he is decently athletic. Brock Purdy is another one we're going to see. Athletic. The young rookie, Caleb, he's another one, pretty athletic. These are things that I wonder moving forward, are we going to be able to have answers for? Because if we don't, it's going to be tough sailing.
Yeah, this is crunch time. There's really no margin for error here. I would assume that the Minnesota Vikings beat the Chicago Bears tonight and will be deadlocked in the division. And 3 games to play. Minnesota's last game on the schedule. I would be shocked if that game doesn't get flexed to Sunday night rather than, sooner rather than later. I think that's going to be announced probably within like the next week or so. So we got meaningful football here. There's no margin for error. We have 3 tough teams. I know the Bears are eliminated from the playoffs. The 49ers are a tough team that aren't just going to roll over and die. And then you got the Minnesota Vikings. We got our hands full. We got a lot of stuff to figure out. I would have it no other way. All right. And I know, guys, I've been doom and gloom. I got the vacation hangover. It's cloudy, rainy. I'm not in the best mood today. So I've been a little somber on this episode, but I want the Detroit Lions to be playing meaningful football right now so that when you get to the playoffs, you're already in that mindset. You already know what you got to do. It's win or go home. Like, there is 0 margin for error. Every play is going to matter. I'd have it no other way. 12-2. I'm still happy. I just got some concerns. I just got some fears. I got some question marks. I need some answers. That's the recap for my show. I'm scared. I just need some answers, guys. Will didn't give me much to go off of today. I'm still on the ledge.
Come off the ledge, man. You're sitting as a number 1 seed. You got a coach, man,
tied for number 1 seed.
Yeah, you got a coach. Oh, yeah, we're going to be glass half empty this whole time. Listen, and the bottom line, we got a coaching staff that has shown that they can handle adversity, man, along with our players. So, listen, we got beat up 1 game. No big deal. Come back next week, take care of our opposition, and just keep that momentum going, man. Let's start our next 12-game run. We do that.
I got one last thing for Buffalo Bills fans.
Talk to me.
Your defense has given up 40 points a game the last 2 weeks. That's all, guys. Stick around, hit that like button, leave some comments, and we'll be back later with another show.
Peace.